Hi, this is Travelhealer helping you fix your problem anywhere, anytime, and recently I have some disc issue. Now, it took me over 20 days to get better. It was, even taking a deep breath, like, it actually caused pain on my back because I pretty much my disc. Every time I take a deep breath, it's painful. So 20 days of rehabilitation comprised of at least 4 to 5 sessions of acupuncture, comprised of probably 8 sessions of my self-treatment, and also lots of exercise rehabilitation to get much better. So now I'm back to work now. So I can understand what this issue can be and how bad it can be. So anyway, let's talk about this. Now, this is basically, I'm trying to make it easy as possible to understand that this comprises of 2 layers, the inner yolk and the outer layer. That's a disc. What happens is, as we get older, the disc become more dried up, so the inner yolk become more gel-like. That's what happens. So interestingly, so how do we explain this problem? You probably heard of terminology like disc bulge, disc herniation, very common. And then there's another one called sequated disc. And then you have asymmetric disc bulge and circumference disc bulge, which is, you rarely heard of this terminology. But to keep it simple, so I can explain the best that I could. Now, what is a disc bulge? A disc bulge is also called a disc prolapse, okay? Now, the disc bulge is imagined when the disc, remember I said there's 2 layers, the inner yolk and the outer layer. So what happens is the disc protrude out into the spinal canal and compress or irritate the nerve. That's called a disc bulge. So it's still intact, okay? That's a disc bulge, or also called a disc prolapse. Now the other one is called disc herniation. So what's a disc herniation? A disc herniation, imagine like this, when the compression come down, and what happens is the disc compress and push out, bulge out, but what happened now, the internal yolk of the disc, the center one, is actually comes out and break the outer layer and not start to make contact on the nerve and irritate nerve. That's a disc herniation, okay? Now, the other one we call it is with a disc herniation, it's interesting, you probably heard of called a slip disc, a disc rupture, I think the other one called extended disc. These are called, another term for disc herniation. Now then another one, we call it the sequated disc, which is, I rarely heard of this myself. So sequated disc is actually when the inner yolk of the disc, the center, and the outer layer, when the compression takes place, the inner disc, the yolk comes out and it breaks through the outer layer, and that yolk leaks into the spinal canal. So it's called a sequated disc. And that yolk, inner yolk of disc, break out of the disc and into the spinal canal and start to cause irritation of nerve. Okay, so it's a sequated disc, okay? Now the other 2 we often call it the asymmetric disc bulge. An asymmetric disc bulge is pretty much like when you have the disc vertebrae like this and the disc on top. And so when the compression comes down like that, what happens is it bulges out between 25 to 50% of the actual disc leak out. We call that a asymmetric disc bulge, but the disc is still intact, it just protrudes out. The last one is what we call the circumference disc bulge. In this scenario, what happens is that the disc sits on top of the vertebrae, the compression force comes down, and what happens is the whole disc actually protrudes in all angles. It protrudes to the back, it protrudes to the front, and both to the side. And this is called a circumference disc bulge. So those are all terminology for the disc. So stay tuned, there's more this issue I will discuss. I hope you follow, and I'll explain more about this healing and this rehabilitation.